What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. The first thing we are doing today is completing another SBC. This is quite an expensive one. As you can see, we've got Pepe in there, we've got Sergio Busquets, we have Oblak, Gaetan, Gomez, Rakitic. Yes, these are quite expensive players, Hilton there, but I got them quite cheap before all these Xmas SBCs came about. I managed to pick them up for relatively cheap. And why did I do this one? I did this one because I wanted Marcus Rashford. This was going to be an SBC where I didn't want to not do. I didn't really want to do it, but I also didn't want to regret it. I didn't want to turn around like the next day or 3-4 days later thinking, my God, I could really use a Marcus Rashford back in my team right now. So basically, what I did is go out and get him, and it was quite cheap. I didn't end up using Otamendi. The most expensive players, obviously, Rakitic, Busquets, Pepe, and Jan Oblak. There are plenty of cheaper ways to do this in hindsight, but I did it to what I thought was the cheapest way. We ended up getting rid of Busquets out of the team and putting in PK, who was about 5k cheaper. We swapped Mandanda for Otamendi, that saved me about 6,000 or 7,000 coins. And in general, this team was relatively cheap, and I was just looking for like the cheapest way to do it. I think altogether it cost me, I would say, about 140, maybe 150,000 coins. Is it worth it? No, it's not. Like, he's untradeable. I can't do anything with him. But is it worth it in the sense that I want to get as many of these blue cards as possible, specifically ones that actually suit me as a player and would fit into my team? Then yeah, it was worth it. You know, I obviously got De Rossi. Got De Rossi for quite cheap, and he's played a few games for us, but not too much. But in general, there's not too much I want to do. And because of basically because of what I invested in prior to these SBCs, I had the opportunity to make quite a strong amount of funds on quite a lot of my players. You'll see me list them all up. Some of them don't sell, some of them do sell. The Movember cards went to 20 to 30k. I picked them up for like 13, 14,000 coins. So even though I might have lost some money on Rashford in the players that I used, because of what I invested in, I actually made a whole bunch of money, like a whole bunch of money. You can see here I got 4 silver informs as well. These silver informs, because they're usable as well in the team, went for a load. You can see as well I've got Kroos, Busquets, Otamendi, Alderweireld, Eriksen. Like, I invested in a lot of players, and as the SBCs come out, I will continue to do them. I will continue to do the ones that suit me or that are just cheap. If an SBC is 50k or less, I will almost definitely do it, just for the simple fact of, like, I make 50k like that in this Road to Glory, whether it be through playing divisions or playing foot champs. I pick up a lot of coins, and I've already got like such a strong team that at this point, improving my team isn't really that possible until something incredible comes out and then I have the funds to get it. Changing the team isn't necessarily worthy, which we're going to talk about a fair bit in today's episode because of what I'm doing here. So why not just use these coins to invest in these blue cards that look good, you know? Yeah, okay, it might be a waste of coins, and for some of you, you might not be able to afford to do it. But for me personally, I think it's worth it. I'm definitely enjoying it. Now, on the ear of like not being able to improve my team, I'm disappointed in myself over the last 2 weeks. I got 34 wins 3 weekend leagues ago. Then I got 28 and 28 again. So I fell 6 wins short of my best performance with a very similar team. But not only did I fall 6 wins short, I didn't even get to elite in either of those 2 weeks. So I was very, very upset that I wasn't able to basically continue my good run of form. And so what I've been trying to do, and what you're going to see in today's episode, tomorrow's episode, today's episode, the next episode, and the next episode, what you're going to see is me playing around with formation, custom tactics, and player instructions. Now, people ask me a lot, what custom tactics do you use, what player instructions do you use? I'm not going to say what they are throughout these videos until I find something that works for me, because there's no point me saying, oh, I used this custom tactic when it was garbage. You know, you guys don't want to hear that. Like, there's no point. So I'm doing all the testing, all the work in Division 1, trying to figure out what's important, what works, what doesn't work, why it works, why it doesn't work, because we're at a point now in this Road to Glory where I like, my team is good as or better than 90, maybe 95% of the teams that I come up against. So it's not the team at this stage. It's it's the small things. It's figuring out how to not panic defend, figuring out how to take my chances, trying to figure out what the best player instructions are, what the best custom tactics are to suit my style of play. And I have tried different formations. As I said, you'll see me go through a few different formations throughout the next few episodes, and I'm trying things like bronze benching. You know, a few pros swear by bronze benching. I know AA9 Skills swears by bronze benching, and that's just where I'm at. I'm at that point where now I want to gain that extra edge, so I want to try certain things throughout a whole season campaign. Decide after the season whether or not it was right for me or not, and if it wasn't right, go back to what I used to do and then tweak something else and find out if that's right. And if it was right, then just stay with it and perhaps try to tweak it, because it's time now with the team that I've got, with the players that I have to hand. It's time now to get 32 wins every weekend. You know, there's no excuse for me to not get 32 wins. I'm a good FIFA player. I've got a great team, and Foot Champs, man, Foot Champs, it just gets me. The emotional stress of Foot Champs is what causes me to lose more games than any like kind of skill level stress, because the amount of people that and don't get me wrong, I say this all the time, but I know I lose some games that I deserve to lose, but the amount of games I lose where I've just let myself down with poor gameplay is horrendous. If last weekend, the weekend just gone, I lost 4 penalty shootouts. I finished with 28 wins. If I just won those 4 penalty shootouts, I would have finished with 32 wins. There was a few other close games that I lost 1-0 in you know, tight games that I could, if I can find out what will give me that extra edge, then maybe I can get 34, 35, 36 wins. You know, that's the aim for me. The aim for me, like throughout the rest of FIFA, is for 1 month to break top 100 monthly, for 1 week to break top 100 weekly, and to get 34 wins again. They're like my next 3 aims, and I have the team to do it, and I have the capabilities to do it. I just haven't done it yet. Anyway, some comments from the previous video. Ricardo Ribeiro says, do you guys agree that EA should put a button to toggle loyalty on/off on concept squads? Yes, that would be amazing. Not only that, I think they should do. I think they need to remove loyalty from SBCs, because then they can have special SBCs that require loyalty. They did it one time only. It was called the Loyal Lads, and like you had to have loyalty on your players to be able to complete it. But the things that they do now is you basically have to have loyalty on your players to complete them. They should do like things that just don't require player loyalty shouldn't be a thing. When you put a player into a squad building challenge, like in concepts, they should automatically have that loyalty shield. It should just be that way. Because what they're getting out of this anyway is crazy people buying crazy players off the market, opening crazy amounts of packs just to try their best and get the players on. So why not give us that little edge? You know, why not just say, okay, if you buy a player off the market, he'll get loyalty in SBC, and then have specific SBCs where it doesn't work. You know, where it's like, okay, so on this one, loyalty is required. Like, you know, you don't just get given loyalty. I think that would be a nice way to do the SBCs. Hafida Production says, hey NepentheZ, I have been watching your videos for about 4 years now. I appreciate that support, dude. Thank you very much. I remember the Ruin Randomer series, and you are my favourite YouTuber. I just have a question. Why are the prices cheaper on Xbox compared to PlayStation? There was a lot of replies to this. Some people saying more people play Xbox, more people play PlayStation, less packs open, more packs opened. The bottom line is that we just don't know. There are quite a few variables on each console. I believe PlayStation outsells Xbox. I don't know in terms of FIFA users how many more people play PlayStation than Xbox. I don't know if more packs are opened on each individual console. I just genuinely don't know. One of the reasons why I would say that they're more expensive on PlayStation is because, to the best of my knowledge, there is a coin hack or a glitch on PlayStation where coins are cheaper to buy. Now, I don't think many people buy coins these days anymore, just because risk of getting banned. But if it is easier to generate coins, even if people aren't buying the coins, if people are just able to generate the coins, they're able to just basically inflate the market themselves. Imagine if you found a way to generate 10 million coins a day. You could just go and buy all the Ronaldos, boom, you've put his price up. You could just go buy all the Xhakas, boom, you put his price up. You could go buy all the informed Dembélés, boom, you put his price up. Like, you know, that to me is the only reasonable explanation, outside of not knowing how many people play each console. But yeah, ultimately it comes down to supply and demand, and that's how it's dictated. It's a weird one, but that is how it's dictated. Jimmy Jakinte says, there's a single player tournament for a lone legend if you have any time. I am aware of the lone legend tournaments. This is already the 4th one this year. I haven't done any of them, and the reason why I haven't done any of them is because I don't need them. You know, for people that do need to improve their team or are desperate for that, like that player or whatever, yeah, go do it. But you're going to get a legend, I think, for 3 games. For me to have to play 4 games offline on professional difficulty to get a legend that will disrupt my team for 3 games, and then I'd have to go back to what I normally would have, just doesn't interest me. You can see I have the Mark Overmars and the Del Piero sitting in my club, and I just don't use them. And the reason why I don't use them is because, one of the reasons is because I wanted to save all the legends until the end. I thought we would get a new legend SBC every month, and it seems like we're not going to get that now because EA haven't done one since the Overmars. But so one of the ideas was for me to save it all for one team, but now it's like I don't want to put Del Piero up front for 20 games and then just go back to my other player who does a great job anyway. Like, what, you know, it's just kind of pointless. So if I did go and do those tournaments, I would end up just having 3 legends, 3 game lone legends just sat in my club doing nothing, just frustrating me. So yeah, that for me is basically why I haven't gone and done those tournaments. But if you don't have a super team, if you don't have a team as good as mine, or a super team, or a great team, or a good team, be sure to just go and do those tournaments. They're on professional difficulty. It's quite easy to complete, and you'll get yourself a lone legend for, I think it's 3 games. It might be 5 games. It might be 7 games. But it's definitely not something that I'm interested in doing. Look at that goal, by the way. Look how lucky that goal was, man. So lucky. Gem Gaming says, NepentheZ, to see what custom tactics to do, go to kickoff, customize the tactic, and you'll see. You're wrong when you say that nobody knows what they do. Love the videos either way. Keep up the good work. And I know that. I know you can go in-game. By the way, why the hell why do EA make these simple things so difficult? To see in-game stats, you have to go into a game and pause it and then look at the player stats. Why can't we do that on the regular menu? And then to see custom tactics and how it develops and what it does, you again have to go in-game and see it. I do know that they exist, but even though they tell you what happens, they don't tell you what happens. Like, for example, if you put passing, or the chance creation section, if you put passing lower, it just says less risky passes. And if you put it higher, it says more risky passes. What does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything to anyone. I don't know why people think that that's good enough. That's not good enough. You know, when you put build-up play to higher, it says the build-up play is faster. But what does that actually mean? What does that change in the game? What does that dictate? When you set the pressure, it tells you when you hit, I think, 66 pressure, you press high. When you're in the middle, you press medium, and when you go down to 33, you press low. Okay, what does that mean? What does press high mean? Is it pressing at the halfway line? Is it pressing at the box? Does it press their back line? Does it press their midline? You don't know what it means. It just means it presses high. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything to anyone. And the same with the aggression. If you set the aggression super high, it says like double T, basically it's like 2-man press. But again, where does it press? What extra man is it taking? Is it taking a random man, or does it take a specifically dedicated man? Like, I want to know exactly what happens in these, with these, not like just generally what happens. But I do understand your sentiment, and yeah, you can look to it a little bit deeper there. That Guy Game says, hey Nep, I've commented this before and got quite a few likes, so I will comment again just to be sure you see. But as you are struggling for a third centre mid, and you said you have tried every single BPL midfielder, so I thought maybe another league. Try Matuidi, Aurier, they link with Fekir and Bailey, so no problems, and also give your team a huge defensive boost compared to Costa. Well, the fact that you know, he says then as well, I hope you read this and try him out. By the way, love your road to glory and draft glory. I appreciate the kind words. The fact that you know I've got Costa means that you know I'm happy with Costa. I think Costa was the missing link for me. I think he's great. I use him a lot. I love him in centre midfield. He fits my style of play for sure. I've tried other leagues. I tried Nainggolan, that Inform Nainggolan that I packed with Florenzi and with linking him up with Hazard and Dembele. I just didn't really like him, and there's nothing wrong with Matuidi, and you're right, you know, could easily link them with Aurier, could easily link them with Bailly, etc. But my midfield is I don't know. I don't want to have to change my defence to accommodate one midfielder just to find one right midfielder. You know, I don't think that's necessarily productive at all. If it meant that I could keep the exact same defence and put in Matuidi, sure, I would probably go for it. But because I can't, like for me to have Matuidi, I either have to go for Aurier, or I have to go for Koscielny, or I have to go for another French centre back that I just don't want to use. Or like people be like, why don't you put him on the left hand side so he links with Clichy? Okay, but then he doesn't link with Fekir, so he doesn't get the strong links. And it's basically like, to change one player, I'm having to sacrifice more players. When I've got like a team that I love, and I've only got one weak link or one player that I wasn't happy with, I don't want to then change like 2 or 3 players to make that one player fit, because now I'm 2 players I'm not happy with, or 3 players I'm not happy with, just to replace that. So I do appreciate your concern, but for me, Costa is the dude, man. My midfield now of Costa, Matic, and Kante. I don't know when I'm going to change that. And the same with my attack. My attack of Hazard, Fekir, and Lacazette. It's going to be difficult for me to change that because it's so damn good. It's an attack that I can't see myself ever changing, because for what reason would I? You know, if something's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I've taken Lacazette out and I put in Rashford. I've taken Lacazette out, I've put in Walcott, I've put in Firmino, I've put in Sterling, I've put in Son. I always go back to Lacazette because he's always the difference for me. Him, Hazard are perfect. All I need is like a really, really good informed right mid from either the same team or the same nation in the same league as Lacazette, and I'll be golden. Which is why I was quite disappointed that Fekir wasn't a right wing, the SBC, because I would have got him. That being said, I am tempted to get that informed Dembele that has been released today, and try Lacazette on 8 chem and inform Dembele in there as well, and just see how that goes, because Dembele will get 7 chem. He'll link with Kante and Lacazette, so Dembele will get 8 chem as well. And I think Dembele on 8 chem will be head and shoulders better than Fekir on 10 chem. And then it just matters whether or not I'm enjoying Lacazette on 8 chem, or if he's not good enough on 8 chem, basically. So there is always that. Emil Berglund says, hey Nep, I know you've said that you don't like doing the bronze upgrades because of the players getting some sort of value in the future, but I think it's necessary to do them for a cheap way of getting the SBC Lacazette, and I wonder which leagues you suggest to get rid of the players in. Been saving all players in the top 5 European leagues and in their second leagues. Other than that, I get rid of most of the players. Do you think that's the right thing to do? Not necessarily, actually. I think that's probably the wrong thing to do. There are so many players from the big leagues. They're so commonly pulled, and there are so many alternatives that saving the big leagues is probably a mistake. Think of how many times the BPL bronzes and the Bundesliga bronzes and the La Liga bronzes have been valuable compared to how many times the Australian League bronzes have been valuable, the Saudi League bronzes have been valuable, the Polish League bronzes, the MLS bronzes. I'd say you're actually doing it the wrong way around, and if I were to do it, I would do it the other way around. Or alternatively, something that I've suggested before is, what I would do is, if you've got space on your trade pile specifically, every bronze player that you get, send it up to your trade pile. If it's a duplicate, send it up. Don't discard it. Send them all up. Once you've filled up your trade pile, go and get a spreadsheet. Go and put all of those players in your spreadsheet that are on your trade pile. Then go to the club, find them all, put them in the SBC, bang, 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 upgrade them, upgrade them, upgrade them. Go back to your trade pile, send all those dudes back into the club. That way you're not wasting any players. It's a little bit more time consuming, but over this Christmas period, it would be a good time to do it, because obviously you guys are going to have a lot of time on your hands. So that for me personally would be the best way to manage that, because then you're not wasting any players at that point in time, and you are simply benefiting yourself. Like, I've opened so many bronze packs over the last 2 to 3 weeks where I've discarded player after player after player after player, and I could easily have just put those into the SBC machine, but I did it out of laziness. I don't have the time to sit there and put them all to trade pile and then put them all into a spreadsheet and then go and find them in the club, yada, yada, yada. But if you do have that time, it would probably be more beneficial, because what I could have done is I've probably discarded the value of maybe about 20 to 40 2-player packs. I'm not saying I might have got anything in those 2-player packs, but if I got anything in those 2-player packs, it could have been more valuable to me. And it's actually maybe something that I'm looking to do over the next few weeks as well. Over this Christmas period, a lot of special cards coming out, a lot of good informs. These SBCs are going to be amazing. I could use like untradables in them. Maybe something I might look to getting into and doing again. But recently I haven't been, because for me the bronze pack method is valuable without doing that. But anyway, guys, As we draw close to the end of the video, as you see, I was playing around with some custom tactics, changing the team, changing the formation. We end up holding Division 1, quite disappointed. Like, if I won the last 2 games, I would have finished on 22 points, which is 1 point away from the title. Can't quite get the title just yet, something that hopefully we'll work towards. But this, as you can see, we have qualified for FUT Champions. This is going to be the end of the video today. If you have enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.